Daddy teaches you can be anything in this world that you want to be, right? Don't Daddy teach you that?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're black or white or any color.
Doesn't matter if you're black, white, brown, yellow, right?
Black.
And how we treat people is based on who they are and not what color they are.
And if they're nice and smart.
See, this is how children think right here. Critical race theory wants to end that. Not with my children. It's not gonna happen. My baby's gonna know that no matter what she wants to be in life, all she has to do is work hard, and she can become that.
Work hard, even though you don't know anyone. You can make friends.
Yeah, you can make friends, no matter what color they are. So we need to stop CRT. Period. Point blank. Children do not see skin color, man. They love everybody. If they're good people, they love them.
We pray for people that are hurt.
Give us like a brief summary of what's critical race theory before we get to the topics.
Yes. So critical race theory is the thought process that, as an activist, I believe every person of color should actually support, because our history has not been taught directly in school, and whenever it is taught, it is whitewashed. So the theory behind that is that we start teaching true history of the people in the diaspora throughout America and the European colonies that were part of the transatlantic slave trade, and even things before that, because if you do get any history, you typically get slavery. You don't get the stories of Mansa Musa. You don't get the stories of ancient Kemet. So the push for that is that our children need to know everything about our history the same way they our white counterparts are told the positive things and uplift them. It does something to your psyche. If little black boys knew that we are the creators of math and science, how much different would they be? How much confident would they be? What type of subjects would they go out for? What type of jobs would they go out for? But if you don't teach the truth about where we come from, it creates a deficit of self-esteem in our community. So I definitely support that, and I think that everyone should.
Okay. I definitely support it if it's like teaching some kids about their true history. But I'm gonna get to
and about what has happened to us with the people who have been in the majority in this country. That's why the reason why they're bucking is because they don't want to be painted in a bad light. Because if you remember, in Texas, they had changed the word slave
to indentured servants,
which is totally different.
Exactly. That shit is willingly.
So it's to prevent that as well.
But what I'm noticing, there's like a big like people are getting pissed off about it. They're putting laws like trying to restrict, like they're trying to ban teachers from teaching that one race or sex is inherently superior to another, and an individual by virtue of the individual race or sex is inherently. It's basically about white privilege, and they're not trying to like. And so, if white people can't accept their kids being telling the truth about history, like, where are we at? If you can't even protest, like we can't even like. First we kneel, and then that was a problem. Then we marched, that was a problem. Then we try to do like laws, like do like politics, that's a problem. So where are we at with these white people? Hey, well, what's up? Well,
where are we at with these white?
Well, think about it like this. The idea is that no one has had to think about it. These black people just showed up. We got them to do the work, and then we enlighten them and educate them and set them free. That makes you God, right? So now we have the God complex being reduced to it's a book written by J.A. Rogers, and if you haven't read it, I suggest you read it. It's called From Superman to Man. And as it goes into the accomplishments of the Africans on this planet, of the black person on this planet, it actually reduces the European contribution to this planet prior to America. Because the American experience is you have a bunch of people who are ostracizing their own land, moving to this place to make a way for themselves, right? And in doing so, now they actually have a society, and it is what it is, and we live in it. As we live in it, and we're becoming more aware of what has happened. Well, we know this 100 years of Tulsa, right? Just now, people like, I watched The Watchmen, and that was the first time I've heard of Tulsa Riot.
That's
I
crazy.
watched Lovecraft Country, that was the first time I heard of Tulsa. Or the movie Rosewood was the first time I heard of it. So
That is crazy.
We grew up with. How many people don't even know what happened in Philadelphia with Move? But this is in 1985.
Yeah.
Well, right now, right there, Live Aid is also going on. Ronald Reagan is dropping bombs on black people.
Exactly.
So we say this to say, when you look at what is going on, there's always been a boot on people's neck. So now that people are saying, hey, we want to rise up against that boot, that proverbial boot. This is why the George Floyd incident was so shocking, and to me so enlightening and so reverberating around the globe, because so many people feel it. We don't talk about the history of Haiti, which is the first
Black
democracy, black democracy in this country. I mean, not in this country, but in this hemisphere. So if we don't talk about that and what it did to the French, because the French are so cool, right? We don't talk about how Toussaint beat Napoleon at his own goddamn game. So we don't talk about what happened to the Aboriginals in Australia. We don't talk about what happened to the folks in New Zealand, or all the Pacific Islanders, everything that happened to those folks. Now we talk about all of these different cultures of brown and black people from across the globe. Everyone is in the diaspora. Look how many people that is, and look how many people that takes away the light from.
Can we talk about?
So I say the light shine upon people who have been ostracized. They look more like us than look like them.
Exactly.
That is the fear that Dr. Cresswell talked about. That is the fear. Post-traumatic slave disorder that affects both groups. But one group is still afraid that the other group will rise up and do to them what was done.
What was done to them.
What they forgotten is that we essentially inherently have this golden rule which comes through that, which is do unto others as you would have done unto you. We will now do what should have been done, which is enlighten and educate and inform. So you do have think globally but act locally.
Yes,
so we just
yes.
Our own
You always preach that, AJ.
In our own homes. The ultimate goal is to be able to, like she said, inspire my own children to want to learn about who they are.
But if we can't teach our, if the white kids are not being taught at home the truth, what like the history of what happened in America, they're going to assume that every man is about what's the word, meritocracy, whatever the fuck the word is. What's the word, y'all?
It's not that. You got to think.
No. It's about merit. Like a white kid is gonna grow up. A white kid's gonna grow up thinking that it's all about hard work, but it's not about.
It's not about.
But he's not gonna think about what the history or lineage that comes along with the struggle.
They don't.
They
don't think about it because they.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish, fam. All right, let me.
Time out.
Then I think about.
He decided to wet his beak.
Then I think about the struggle. The struggle, Rob.
When you think about it, what's glorified is not the struggle. We don't talk about Kobe and the gym shit.
Exactly.
Which is why that Rick Ross line.
You talk about them 5 chips.
When you know the struggle, you talk about it. Nobody talks about the building going up. They dedicate the building when it's done. So when they dedicate the building when it's done, they never talk about the construction workers and everybody who went into making it what it is.
Exactly.
That's the nature of the.
That's the critical race theory. That's what they're trying to teach. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to enlighten the beast. I mean, that's the riddle of the Sphinx. You have a beast with a man's head.
But can we think about white supremacy and what it does to institutions, like when it comes to schools and employment, like every aspect, white supremacy. But when you're trying to teach the young kids, young white kids, we don't have a problem with white kids. Like they understand, like they're mostly liberal, right?
Sir, we live on a planet where
you got to be very careful, because one of the ways that Black people have been bamboozled in the past is the white liberal. You have to really go back in history.
That is a factoid.
Just because they're liberal, you can't let your guard down and think, oh, they're for us. I mean, I'm an activist, so I'm with white allies all the time. There are true allies, but there are a lot of them who are jumping on board because it's a trend and it's not cool to be racist, but when you really get down to it, they need just as much unpacking as everybody else. So please don't be fooled if they're a liberal.
Yes, Brother
Sometimes
Malcolm.
they
Brother Malcolm
have
told
even
us this
cooler
already.
things.
And it's as you said, the Renaissance, right? So this is when, I mean, we knew about, this happened before when Public Enemy started talking and X-Clan started talking and other groups started talking, where we were like, oh, wait a minute, apartheid has happened in South Africa? I mean, people have been talking about that since the 60s here, but it became a jump-on trend, and then it was like, okay, let's boycott Coca-Cola, let's boycott the institutions that are actually, get them to divest from Africa. But now that the lens has turned upon America again, the question is, what are we going to do to clean up our own society? And then that's the part when it comes to the liberals. They have the luxury of forgiving. This is what I say to my white friends all the time. It's like, you have the luxury of letting it go. I don't have that luxury. At any day, I could be at a party and all y'all could be like, yep, that's up to that. And that's what we grow up with. I'm going to be honest. That's what we grow up with. We grow up with the knowledge that you can drag Emmett Till out of his home, take him, kill him, and then nobody pays for it. That's the reality. So now, that's the reality, and it's still today. Let's go down the list. Mike Brown. I mean, go down the list. That's
No, literally the whole
They
list.
started a joke. I'm running out of t-shirts. I mean, it's the hashtag. How many hashtags do we have to say?
Right.
So again, if you have to say Black Lives Matter, take a step back and realize why people are saying Black Lives Matter, because it has been marginalized and it has been considered minuscule. And at the end of the day, Black lives, they paid for them, so they can let them go. And now it's up to you. That's the wildest thing of freedom. Now you're free to be as dumb as you want to be. What is it that you need? We didn't even know that the watermelon came with us from Africa, and was one of the easiest things to grow, and that people wanted so much of that it became a boom for us when we were the agriculturalists who were former slaves, right? And when we started our schools that were agricultural institutions, because what we did was we used what we had. We were the ones who were the carpenters, who were the agriculturalists, who were the ironworkers, who were the blacksmiths, who were the tailors. We did all the goddamn work. So the poor white person didn't have anything. So what did they say? Well, at least I'm not a nigger. So now you have that mentality, which is what Richard Price said. I got to face this shit. So if you don't have that, and the closest you have to this is the white woman who lives in the home with her oppressor, who actually says to her, you have to treat them this way. So now, if that's the closest ally we have, and they can treat it, because listen to what the sisters say about what happens when it comes to the women's rights movement and suffrage, and how we forget that Black women were at the forefront of that. So if you don't talk about any of that, then what we're really not doing is we're not really we're not teaching the whole story. We're not teaching the whole book. And it's like we're reading the Quran when it's also English and Arabic, and we're wondering which side of the page to read on, because we don't know either language. You know, we really just don't get it. So it has to be not just a resurgence, but a rethinking process of American school system. The American school system initially was to get people out of the field and to build the society up. There are no more fields. We have businesses. Now what's next? You know, what is it? Middle management? Is that what you want? Well, by all means, go for that, Karen.
It's definitely middle
That's
management.
not what I want. That's not what Diddy taught us. That's not what Suge taught us. That's not what hip hop taught the world. I will sell this shit out the back of my trunk. Fuck what you want, because it's underground funk. And when it's underground funk, it bubbles up. And that's why hip hop is the voice of the degenerate youth.
It's
And
the new pop.
the engine of the world. So as long as hip hop is the voice of the youth, you're going to have this over and over and over again. Because people will go, wait, I didn't know niggas. I didn't know that came from that word. It came from all these rails what to do. N-E-G-U-S. That means Ethiopian king. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know how many Black people actually say to me, really? And I was like, I've been calling you niggas this since. But y'all didn't get it. Y'all didn't get it. You didn't get it. They use what we didn't know against us. Now we gotta flip it.
Yep.
You don't know us, and that's cool. So keep doing what you're doing. And if they wanna, they're always gonna try to throw something out. We don't want to talk about this theory. We don't want to talk about that. I know about it. I teach my children about it, because I will never be a victim of white supremacy as long as I am under its thumb. I know it exists, and it's like the Matrix. Make this motherfucker work.
But sir, it can be, if you want to get a house, they can deny you. They can.
Let me ask you a question though, and this is a real question. Why do you want a house living by somebody who don't want to live there anyway?
It's not even about who. It's not about your neighbor.
No.
It's about who.
No,
It's about the house. And
Listen.
who's signing the paper? Who the owner?
Here again, we've had towns and cities and communities and cultures.
Yes.
PG County
Yes.
is the top black
Number
county
one, G.
in America. The richest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, probably Baldwin Hills might be closest to it, right?
Yeah.
And Baldwin Hills is in California. I say that to say PG County is sufficient. Now, again, you have to deal with the system. But I don't got to deal with your bullshit, especially when I go home. Fuck that. This is over. I mean, you're talking about civil rights. Well, remember now, the movement also included people who wanted to live in those neighborhoods because it was easier. But it also included gangsters and hustlers who was like, you know what? I just want to be able to go where I feel like going without anybody making me feel like shit. And that's what it's all about. You are entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You're not entitled to happiness. The pursuit of happiness is the ability to go out there and chase your dream without any impediment. So if I don't want to be impeded in chasing this dream, I'm also not going to put any bullshit in my way. I'm not going to put my kids in a system where they actually have to question who they are on a daily basis. If we got black kids who teach black kids about not getting a haircut. I got people who tease me still when my kids talk sometimes. I'm like, where y'all naked? My wife is ridiculous, bro. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So again, it becomes, we have our own work to do. And I'm not knocking anyone who wants to live integrate. I'm not knocking that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying along with my coffee, I want to integrate my job experience so that when I go to work, I ain't got to deal with your bullshit. And when I go home, I really got to deal with your bullshit because everywhere is your bullshit. Everywhere.
Splat out.
It's Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? It ain't.
Damn.
It ain't Mr. Robinson's neighborhood. And look at
No.
what Trump did to the White House. Look what Obama did to the White House. Trump left the White House and they had bored the bitch up. They had literally blown up the Capitol. When they moved out the neighborhood, I was like, really? You ain't seen that before. So now you see what the cracker is. And let me explain the term cracker. Right?
Oh,
Because
damn.
talk about this, all the guys that say cracker is a cracker. You know what they called them cracker? Because they didn't have any culture. It was all cracked together. We say it's because of the whip, because of the sound of the whip. The white man did that to himself. They did not like poor white trash. And they didn't have a culture. But the elite white man was not going to get his hands dirty with the slave. So he'd hire this one or that one because they would have to get their hands dirty. So remember, this thing is not, what did the queen and them say? We don't do that. We never did that. Bitch, y'all got whole countries. What you mean? You don't do that.
Right.
You never did that.
And all those places were with brown people. Can we say India?
Whole countries. Whole countries. They recently said, yeah, Hong Kong, you can go. Whole fucking countries. Still under their thumb. So now, when they say the sun never set on the British Empire, they make that shit.
Yeah.
You want to talk about oppressive? Can we get to black people and Joe Biden? I know you guys gotta I know you guys gotta go, but
We did it, Joe.
my last question is Joe Biden, he went to the Tulsa, he spoke to him, he gave him some platitudes, he didn't give him no reparations, no money, no bank statement, no routing number, no account number. So,
No West Indian names
but when the Asian people got yelled at, they got a bill and they got funding. So my question to y'all before we go to I'm gonna let y'all go. My last question is, what will it take for black people to realize Joe Biden that they're already gonna lose people, they're already gonna lose the midterms. So my question to y'all is, what will it take black people to tell Joe Biden, you need to do something for us before we vote for you? We're going to go to Mona.
I think the biggest thing is for Black people to understand how this works. I think the veil is being lifted and we're just starting to wake up as a collective. And the biggest thing that we have to understand is that white supremacy will only respond to loss of life or loss of finance. So we either have to take lives or we have to practice powernomics.
General strike.
Money. The reason why the Asian community were able to have that pass so fast is because their dollar stays in their community up to 2 weeks and they are self-sufficient on their own no matter where they go as a collective. They also have a home country that's a base We don't have that right now, but we have like places like Ghana reaching out to us and stuff. We have to really, really understand the art of war that's going on. And it's the reason why we keep missing the mark is because we don't understand it and we act on emotion more than we should.
All right. All right.
Hey, what?
I think she hit the nail on the head. If you haven't read it, it's called Economics and really understand what this game is being played. They say, Public Enemy said it, we're all pawns in one big chess.
But hold on. So when Ice Cube, he said, "Hey y'all, we gotta do something. We gotta actually tell Biden what we want for our vote." He got shut down. But so what y'all talking about? What we going?
I didn't shut him down.
Right, we didn't.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't shut him down.
I actually believe that you should go to every politician, no matter if you think they like you or they don't,
Yes.
and speak about things. But we have to be on the same page. We have to agree what our stance is. If our stance is going to be reparations, we all have to be on the same page and really, really say, if you don't do this, we ain't doing that. Because what we don't understand is we make everything move. Everything in this country. If you really think about it, top consumers, the trends, every single thing moves because of the POC in this country.
Absolutely.
But we don't really fully understand it. Now, Biden has turned around and he's offering, get your shots at the shop for black hair. No, I'm not even joking.
So yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. I have a hair salon and he's trying to train us to give out vaccines, but he's not targeting the white hair salons and barbershops. Now you could say, oh, well, our numbers are down. Hairstyles are the last people you want administrating vaccines. We drunk as shit in the morning when we come into the shop.
Okay. I thought you was supporting it. I thought you was okay.
But that's what I'm saying. He does when he wants to speak to the black community. He does it in a certain way.
Cookouts and yeah.
We get emotional
Strip clubs.
Racism, while covert racism is staring us in our face. We need to attack both of those wings on the same bird with this is what we want. If you don't give it, that's it. Boom. Like that's it. Either get down or lay down. Like we really need to take that, but we don't.
Last word, y'all. Last word. AJ, turn up.
Let's say they just
I think like what she's saying, really listen to some of the things that we have already that are out there for us. Really look over what the NAACP will continue to do. And join these organizations and ensure and actually use our collective bargaining. I'm a member of my union and our collective bargaining is everything because we have to stand together or we will fall apart. And that's exactly what it comes with every vote. And every vote is serious. If Malcolm X was talking about you have the ballot or the bullet, then you have to listen to what he's saying. Within this country, you have opportunity for a bloodless revolution, meaning you can incite change. You can really do that. So use your power, understand your power, go for it. Go for it. Because it really, and work with others. It's that tie, that rope. That's what tennis, is trying to tell you. It's that unity, that rope, that bonds, those bonds get tighter. That's what happens with our hair, right? When it gets wet, it gets tighter. It gets stronger. So we have to get tighter. We have to get stronger. And we have to understand that we are not under a thumb, but we are, there's a boot. That boot that they keep telling us to pull up, is on our neck. So let's take it off.
Get off that, get off our necks and pull up July 3rd at the public house at the Comedy Lounge for Haywood.
Yeah.
So, yes, in Manassas. Don't put your foot off. Don't take your foot off. Don't put a rope around my neck. But around Manassas. But